If you've ever planted too early or lost half of your crops to pests, don't worry, you're not alone. Gardening is all about trial and error, and I've made most of these mistakes myself and still did some of these this year, to be honest. But the good news is that you don't have to learn the hard way. So let's go through the most common spring gardening mistakes and what you can do instead so you can set up your garden for success this spring.
I get it, okay? We've been waiting all winter, and the first warm day of spring makes us want to plant everything. But here's the thing, just because the sun is out doesn't mean the soil is ready. A late frost can wipe out delicate seedlings overnight, and cold soil can stunt growth before plants even get a chance to take off. So, what can you do instead? Always check your last frost date before planting. Use maybe a soil thermometer or just feel it. If it's freezing, your plants will be too. And don't forget to harden off your seedlings before transplanting them outside. Or, for example, spring rains can trick you into thinking your plants are getting enough water, or even worse, make you think they need even more. Overwatering is just as dangerous as underwatering. Too much water drowns the roots and not enough leaves plants stressed before they even get going. So what you can do instead is either just stick your finger into the soil, and if it's damp, a few centimeters down, skip watering. Another thing you can do is mulch around plants to retain moisture and keep the soil from drying out too fast. In really dry days, you can try and water early in the morning so that your plants can dry out before the nightfall. This reduces fungal issues.
So the third mistake that I wanted to mention is soil prep. Just because obviously there are people that suggest that tiling should be done, there's people that suggest that tiling shouldn't be done because you're disturbing the soil and all of those. So, as I said, one of the main things in your garden will always be your soil prep, because soil health means healthy plants. So let's see. Now, there are different things that you can do to prepare your soil before spring, and even techniques that you can use depending on your growing planning, really. And that is because it depends on, for example, whether you're planning to plant straight into the ground or just go for raised beds, for example. I personally, in one of my beds, chose to go straight into the ground, and on the other one, I went for a raised bed, which again I did tile in the beginning when I first set it up. And the reason is because we moved in here in November and there was a lot of rain, there was frost, and after all the rain, you would walk on our grass around our garden and it would be soggy everywhere. So I thought a bit of tiling and a bit of aeration before I throw everything else would work and give the soil the oxygen and the nutrients that it needs.
So yeah, back to the subject. Soil prep is a must in spring prep. And the reason is because your soil is your foundation in your garden. If you plant directly into poor soil or compacted soil, your plants might struggle, and that's not what you want. So because I did some light tiling last year before adding everything else in the bed, This year I chose to add some cover crops fully on the actual raised bed to experiment with winter crops, and they haven't done great, to be honest, but not awful either. On the other bed, where I'm planting straight on the ground, I had added some mulch, which I did make from our own Christmas tree. And I did add some bored beans here too, but they got kinda slaughtered by the slugs, as I said earlier. So I just tested the soil in all three beds. I added some more compost or whatever organic matter I could gather. And I make sure after every really heavy rain to maybe go around with my trowel, and I like to say just scratch smoothly the top layer of the ground wherever I see it slowly cracking while it's in the process of drying out. So number 4 is not planning your layout. But to be honest, I shouldn't really be the one to give you advice on this, because I most likely every time tend to just plant everything wherever I had space, even when I had a plan for my layout.
So, what I do try to always keep in mind is one, think how big a plant will grow before you plant it right next to something that will grow smaller. So this is really to avoid overshadowing other plants around, if that makes sense. So try to space them as much as possible. And the one last thing that has helped me personally
is this small little list of companion planting, which, completely forgetting about the whole idea behind it, has actually helped me personally to remember them in couples. For example, I remember I should plant tomatoes with basil close to each other, as they do tend to help each other out. And the last and probably my most worst nemesis in mistake lists ever is ignoring pests early on. Yeah, remember those slaughtered beans I showed you earlier? Yeah, exactly that. Pests don't wait for summer. If you wait until you see major damage, you may already have lost half of the game. So always check for aphids, slugs, and caterpillars early in the season. If you have anything around, use any physical barriers or traps for vulnerable plants, and try to attract as many natural predators like ladybugs or birds that help control pest populations. So let's wrap it up. Spring is your best chance to set up your garden for success. So take your time, enjoy the process, and don't stress over mistakes. We're all learning. And if you have any spring gardening tips, drop them in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. And if you found this helpful, give this video a like and don't forget to subscribe for more gardening tips. See you soon!